Growing up, I watched a lot of Taxi reruns on Nick at Night, and as a young kid, that's where I first got my introduction to one of my favorite entertainers of all time, Andy Kaufman. Andy Kaufman is one of the greatest entertainers to ever have lived. He saw himself more as a song and dance man than a comedian, but to categorize him does him no favors. You may or may not find him funny, but there's no doubt in my mind, Andy Kaufman could work a crowd and take them on emotional journeys like no other could. People would be laughing at him as he lip-synced the theme to Mighty Mouse, or cheering him like crazy as he busted out his Elvis impersonation, or even booing him as he read the audience Great Gatsby, but perhaps some of his greatest work was done inside the squared circle. Kaufman would declare himself intergender heavyweight wrestling champion, and only wrestle women. Why only women? Because he knew his target audience. He said men could beat him, so he would insult women, and these were some of the gems that Kaufman laid.
Now, I'm not saying women are mentally inferior to men, because when it comes to things like cooking and cleaning, washing the potatoes, scrubbing the carrots, raising the babies, mopping the floors, they have it all over men. I believe that. But when it comes to the wrestling, when it comes to them getting in the wrestling ring, there's nothing up there. They're all oatmeal north of the eyebrows. They're all, we Tina for brains, you know what I mean?
Kaufman comes across as a believable asshole that really hates women and isn't faking anything. And that's the beauty of his role. No one was sure if he was telling the truth or just merely playing a character. Kaufman would go on to stage hundreds of matches across the country, and some of these matches can be seen in the documentary Intergender World Heavyweight Wrestling Champion on Netflix. It's not particularly good, but it does have some interesting footage. After a while, one man would finally answer Kaufman's challenge, and that man was Jerry the King Lawler. Kaufman would be celebrating in the ring when Jerry the King Lawler comes out. He starts to taunt Lawler, and the King shoves him down to the mat. Lawler leaves the ring, and Andy Kaufman is beyond livid at this point.
I will sue! Lawler! I will sue you! You don't touch me! I am from Hollywood! I'll get Hollywood against you, baby! I'll sue you, baby! Lawler! I don't wrestle men! You don't touch me, baby! I'll sue you or everything you've got! You won't have anything left when I'm through with you!
Kaufman was so outraged at Lawler's antics, he decided a few weeks later to send in this message to Memphis television, and it's one of my all-time favorite heel promos.
You're from Memphis, Tennessee. All you do is plow the fields and farm and the farmers. Is that how you talk to Memphis, Tennessee, Mr. Lawler? Buh. See, Mr. Lawler, you don't have any brains. I'm from Hollywood. I have the brains. That's how I win my matches. I say the bigger they come, the harder they fall. You might be twice as big as me, but I've wrestled women that are twice as big as me, and I've mopped the floor with them. And that's what I'm going to do with you, Mr. Lawler. You challenged me to a wrestling match. I think you bit off a little more than you can chew.
The two would go on to have a match at the Mid-South Coliseum where Andy Kaufman would take not one, but two pile drivers. And because of that, he would win via disqualification. Jerry Lawler, 0. Andy Kaufman, 1. Before the match begins, Kaufman would stall for several minutes, taunting Jerry Lawler and the people of Memphis. Lawler then offers him a free headlock, and the two would possibly make one of the most famous squash matches in wrestling history. In one of my favorite movies, the 1990 biopic about Andy Kaufman's life, Man on the Moon, they briefly take a look at the feud with Jerry Lawler. Kaufman is played by Jim Carrey, who does a terrific job, and Lawler plays himself. Originally, they wanted the Disco Inferno to play Jerry Lawler. Could you have imagined that? Of course, the movie does get a significant downgrade as the feud replaces Lance Russell with Jim Ross, but I guess everything can't be perfect.
On a side suplex, Kaufman is down and maybe out. Now his leg's twitching.
Maybe I'm just being bitter, but I enjoy hearing Lance Russell on the call for this match. His commentary seems natural. He's not yelling over the top in triplicate or talking about what's trending worldwide on Twitter. He's just calling what he sees, and that's the action in the ring. And sometimes simplicity is best.
Not believing it.
And good God, could Kaufman sell that pile driver. He took 2 of them and acted like he was in a fatal car crash, or that 2 Tennesseans shot him with a shotgun.
The winner by disqualification.
Originally, Kaufman went to Vince McMahon Sr. and the World Wrestling Federation to pull off this angle. McMahon declined, saying that it was too gimmicky for his taste, and told him to go down south and try it out there. And that night in Memphis, wrestling history was made. Of course, this angle was only beginning, as the most famous incident happened afterwards. Kaufman would sell the pile driver so much he would go on to wear a neck brace in every appearance since. And because of that, not only did this feud give us one of the greatest angles in wrestling history, but perhaps one of the greatest moments in television history, when Jerry Lawler and Andy Kaufman had a confrontation on The Late Show with David Letterman.
Because I'm not that kind of a guy.
Yeah. You know what?
What kind of a guy are you? No, you're not the kind of guy.
I'll just be over here.
I am sick of this bullshit. You are full of bullshit, my friend. I will sue you for everything you have. I will sue your ass. You're a motherfucking asshole. As far as I'm concerned, you hear me? A fucking asshole. Fuck you. I will get you for this.
I'm going to end it here because I don't want to spoil the entire angle for you. You can watch it on YouTube or check out the documentary I'm From Hollywood. It gets my highest recommendation. I also recommend Man on the Moon, as it is one of my favorite movies of all time. Remember, this is the Pile Driving Critique, where professional wrestling meets pop culture.
Bum, bum, bum.